We are live. Okay, thank you. I would like to convene the Westminster City Council successor agency to the Westminster Redevelopment Agency. Calling meeting to order. Roll call, please, City Clerk.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Mayor Nguyen. Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes, I'm here.
Councilwoman Fan West.
Yes, I'm here.
Councilmember Monzo.
I'm here.
And Councilmember Nguyen. Vice Mayor, you have a quorum with Mayor Nguyen and Councilmember Nguyen absent.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Councilmember Carlos Manzo for a salute to the flag, please, and invocation by City Attorney
Please stand.
Bettenhausen. Thank you.
Ready? Begin. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we ask your presence here tonight as the people's business is deliberated. We ask your grace on all that is discussed and that wise decisions would be made, that there would be good conversation and discussion about these issues. And we just commit this time and just ask that it would be fruitful. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Councilmember Manzo and City Attorney Bettenhausen. So next will be City Attorney closed session report. City Attorney?
No closed session tonight.
Okay. Any ex parte communications?
No.
Councilmember?
No.
Okay. City Clerk report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Staff has been alerted of a few minor errors within attachment number 2 of agenda item number 3.1. As follows, this is the amendment that staff is requesting for tonight's consideration. Page number 1, under call to order, amend closed session to show as study session. Page 12, under agenda item 3.5, amend language to show that item F was pulled for presentation, not item G. And page 22, under agenda item number 5.5, add language as follows: Mayor Nguyen return to the dais at 8:28 p.m. I'm available to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. City Manager report.
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, and everyone in attendance tonight. So first, we want to start off with this week as Volunteer Week. So April 21st through the 27th is National Volunteer Week, which celebrates the invaluable contributions of volunteers across sectors. That is not the poster for this announcement. And so we honor the dedicated service of our police volunteers. These individuals selflessly donate their time and expertise to support our efforts, enhancing public safety and community well-being. And we also have volunteers that work in our community services department as well, and other programs, and other programs. So between our police volunteers, our community services volunteers, we just want to acknowledge their hard work and their commitment to the community. If anyone's interested in becoming a police volunteer, please contact the police department at 714-548-3771. And if you're interested in being a volunteer for community services, I actually do not have that phone number with me, unfortunately, but it is on our city's website. And then next Tuesday, April 30th, which is the next flyer up. Yes. So Tuesday, April 30th at 10 a.m., Sid Goldstein Freedom Park, we will be holding our annual Black April ceremony, which commemorates the anniversary of the fall of Saigon, and it honors the lives of those lost during the Vietnam War. Sid Goldstein Freedom Park is at 14180 All-American Way. The program begins at 10 a.m. and all members of the public are welcome to attend. There is limited seating, so we suggest that you show up early. So as you've probably seen on our social media, for the past few months, we've been doing some outreach out in our parks. So our parks are getting an upgrade. We have a couple of other outreach meetings scheduled. So join us to see the proposed playgrounds that are going to be coming to Russell C. Paris Park and College Park, and the playground and pickleball courts coming to Bowling Green Park. So come on out, Russell C. Paris Park Playground. That's over at 8582 Palos Verdes Avenue. It's an in-person meeting on May 1st at 1 p.m. And if you're not able to attend, we have a virtual meeting on May 2nd at 5 p.m. Then we have College Park Playground over at 15422 Vermont Street. It's in person on May 1st at 2:30 p.m. with a virtual meeting on May 2nd at 5:30 p.m. And then Bowling Green Park Playground and Pickleball Courts, that's 14700 Bowling Green Street. In-person meetings, May 1st at 4 p.m., virtual meeting on May 2nd at 6 p.m. And of course, for all the updates on those outreach meetings, check out our city's website and social media. Okay. No city manager report is complete without Senior Center upcoming events. So we have a Cinco de Mayo celebration coming up Friday, May 3rd from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Come and celebrate Mexican culture and history in a Cinco de Mayo fiesta event. There will be folklorico dancers and delicious regional cuisine to sample. Advanced registration is required for the event and is available at the Senior Center front desk. It is, however, free to attend. Then on May 8th, from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., we'll be hosting our Mother's Day luncheon. Celebrate all the moms in your life with a special luncheon at the Senior Center featuring great food and live entertainment from the popular Tony O'Dell Rogers. Tickets are $5 per person and can be purchased in advance at the Senior Center front desk. And of course, for more information on these events and to register, please call 714-895-2878. And we recognize that the flyers look really small on the screen. They are available on the city's website and on social media. And our Fair Housing Foundation is going to be hosting a free fair housing workshop on Thursday, May 2nd from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Marion Warren Community Building. That's over at 14491 Beach Boulevard. This workshop is open to Westminster residents. It's for tenants, landlords, managers, property owners, attorneys, realtors, and management companies. So for more information and to RSVP, please call 1-800-446-3247, and this is absolutely free. Okay. And then we are, as you can see, many of us are actually wearing, well, we're not on that slide yet. So many of us are actually wearing denim today. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and so we just wanted to showcase to everyone that many of us in the audience and on the dais here are wearing denim to show support and solidarity. And then last but not least, huge announcement for the city we're really excited about. The City of Westminster was recognized with the Award of Excellence in Transportation Planning for the Garden Grove Boulevard Complete Street Project from the Orange County American Planning Association. This is actually our first public announcement of this honor. The city was awarded a highly competitive state grant in the amount of $2.76 million from the Caltrans Active Transportation Program. The Garden Grove Complete Street Project installed approximately 3 miles of bicycle facilities in the city in accordance with the city's Westminster General Plan, Mobility Element, and Active Transportation Plan. This project included a protected bikeway on Garden Grove Boulevard from the 22 freeway on-ramp at Valley View to the off-ramp at Golden West Street. These improvements included replacing a dirt path with a beautifully landscaped median, new stamped concrete, illuminated pedestrian crosswalks, traffic signal modifications, and reducing the travel lanes from 4 to 2, which resulted in speed reduction and creating a safer environment for bicyclists and pedestrians. It also included buffered bike lanes installed on Edwards Street between Garden Grove Boulevard and Trask, and on Trask between Edwards and Hoover. So these new bike facilities will connect to the bicycle facilities on the upcoming Mendez Freedom Trail on Hoover Street from Garden Grove Boulevard to Bolsa Avenue. So we really just want to acknowledge the hard work that our staff and consultants put into that project, and so we'll be receiving an award for that sometime next month. And with that, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your report. It was great. Okay, so next we have special presentations. This brings us to special presentations. We have two. We will be saying a few words of recognition from the dais and take photos immediately following the presentations, and I'd like the council members to join me. Okay, so the first one, presentation of proclamation for the 50th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week. May 5th through May 11th will be the 50th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week, initiated in 1969 by IIMC. When I looked it up, is it Indian Institute of Mass Communication? Is that correct?
It's the International Institute of Municipal Clerks.
Okay. Okay, there are a lot of acronyms here. Okay, say that again.
It's the
International?
International Institute of Municipal Clerks.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense. And endorsed by all its members throughout the United States, Canada, and 15 other countries, the week is a time of celebration and reflection on the importance of the clerk's office. This week is to recognize and honor those in the profession. Now, therefore, I, Vice Mayor Ho of the City of Westminster, on behalf of Mayor Nguyen and Council Members Van West, Manzo, Nguyen, do hereby recognize the week of May 5th through May 11th as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend our appreciation to our City Clerk Department under the direction of our City Clerk, Ashton Orocho, jointly with the Administrative Assistant, Tanya Ramirez, and Records Coordinator, Daisy Guzman, and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Thank you. And then the next one will be presentation of proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month. We joined the Family Resource Center in bringing awareness to Child Abuse Prevention Month, and this City Council recognizes the importance of working together and supporting each other to help children and families by providing resources, education, and support during challenges and struggles having to do with incidents of child abuse. Now, therefore, I, Vice Mayor Ho of the City of Westminster, on behalf of Mayor Nguyen, Council Members Van West, Manzo, and Nguyen, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the City of Westminster, and encourage all to learn about the importance of child abuse prevention and taking part in combating child abuse in our community. So, Council Members, please join me. Thank you. Our city clerk, please stand right next to me. Don't be shy. We know you're not. Okay, proclamation, 50th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week, May 5th through 11th, 2024. Whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local government bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, now, therefore, I, G. Charlie Nguyen, I, actually, Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho, standing in for G. Charlie Nguyen, Mayor of the City of Westminster, on behalf of Mayor, as well as council members Amy Fan West, Carlos Manzo, Nam Quan Nguyen, do hereby recognize the week of May 5th through 11th, 2024 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend our appreciation to our City Clerks Department under the direction of City Clerk Ashton Orocho, NMC, and jointly with Administrative Assistant 2, Tanya Ramirez, and Records Coordinator Daisy Guzman, and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Signed and dated this 24th day of April 2024 by the City Council. Signed by G. Charlie Nguyen, Mayor, Kimberly Ho, Vice Mayor, District 3, Amy Fan West, Councilmember District 1, Carlos Manzo, Councilmember District 2, Nam Quang Nguyen, Councilmember District 4. Congratulations. Thank you for all you do.
Oh, thank you so much, Vice Mayor Ho and council members. This is an honor to receive this on behalf of the department for the City Clerk's Office. And on behalf of the community, I do look forward to continuing to work with all of you as well as my staff. So thank you for recognizing us.
Thank you. Would you like to speak? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone look here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next one's okay.
Next, we have Proclamation Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2024. Do we have a representative? Hi. Oh, thank you. I recognize you all. Thank you for that program. You all. Whereas the Westminster Mayor and City Council joins the Family Resource Center in bringing awareness to Child Abuse Prevention Month, and whereas one of the many amazing resources provided by the city is the Family Resource Center, which provides resources and services to families to help keep children safe, healthy, and thriving by prevention and intervention of child abuse. And whereas child abuse and neglect impacts children and families regardless of their socioeconomic status, race, culture, religion, ethnicity, educational level, age, sex, or where they live. And whereas in 2023, there were 30,840 calls in Orange County to the Child Abuse Registry for unduplicated children, and 594 of these children residing in Westminster. And whereas 9 children died from child abuse or neglect in Orange County, and whereas this City Council recognizes the importance of working together and supporting each other to help children and families by providing resources, education, and support during challenges and struggles having to do with incidents of child abuse. And whereas April is Child Abuse Prevention Month throughout the nation, so we're asking each resident of the City of Westminster to support families and children by bringing awareness to prevent, provide intervention, and inform others of the resources available. Now, therefore, I, Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho, And on behalf of Chief Charlie Nguyen, Mayor, City of Westminster, and Councilmember Amy Fan West, Carlos Manzo, and Nam Quan Nguyen, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the City of Westminster, and encourage all to learn about the importance of child abuse prevention and taking part in combating child abuse in our community. Signed and dated this 24th day of April 2024 by the City Council, Chief Charlie Nguyen, Mayor, Kimberly Ho, Vice Mayor, District 3, Amy Fan West, Councilmember, District 1, Carlos Manzo, Councilmember, District 2, and Nam Quang Nguyen, Councilmember, District 4. Thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you for everything you do, guys.
Thank you so much for the support of the Family Resource Center. We are tirelessly helping families in Westminster. If you are a family you know may need some resources, or you have questions about our center, we encourage you to reach out, come by and visit, and see what we have to offer. Thank you again, Vice Mayor and council members. On behalf of this, it's an honor. Thank you.
Take a picture together. Would you like to speak?
Thank you so much, guys, for all you do. I do go to your event, and I love what you do and the service you provide for the community. Keep up the good work. You guys are doing phenomenal in our City of Westminster, and you're keeping safety for our children and low-income community and women as well. So I really appreciate all you guys do, and if you need anything, we're here to help. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations, and thank you. Your services are vital to our community and the rest of the Family Resource Centers and other communities as well. They provide a very big service for all of our community residents. So thank you very much. We're always really appreciative of all you do. The whole team, it takes a team to get things done. So thank you for your leadership, Vanessa, and Gina as well as part of the team. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay. So moving on to oral communications. This is for agenda items only. City Clerk, please read it into record. And I'd like to say that I will do things differently, you know, as I'm in charge tonight. I will not allow council members to speak in rebuttal or in response to the public comments. So after the oral communications, we're going to go straight to consent calendar. Thank you. City Clerk, please call first speaker.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This is the time of the meeting that members of the public may address the City Council regarding any items on the agenda. Unless otherwise extended by a majority vote of the City Council, comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Any person wishing to address the City Council in person should complete a green speaker slip that is provided at the entrance to the council chambers and submit the card to the City Clerk. When your name is called, please step to the podium at that time and state your name and city of residence for the record. Our first speaker is Michael Varengia.
Thank you. Good evening. We're missing a couple, but we have enough for a quorum. Normally, I don't go through the warrant register, which shame on me, but I do occasionally look out there just to see where the city's money's going out. And I noticed that within the space of about 2 weeks, we paid Jones and Meyer somewhere around $85,000. And what this brings up a couple of points. it makes me concerned that we're having to use legal advice that much. That what is going on in the background, I know that everything that's discussed in closed session obviously is confidential and can't be discussed with the public. I get it, been there, done that. But are there things that this city is going to have to be paying out that we don't know yet? Is the other shoe getting ready to drop? Or I don't think we're being overcharged. I don't believe they're really out of the ordinary in most of the city attorneys. But it just makes me really worried that there's stuff going on in the background that we're going to have to either pay for or we're being sued, something like that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this kind of a layout for our city attorney representing us. So if there's something going on, God, please take care of it, because this city can't afford to take a big hit being sued over something. So, like I said, I'm just concerned after seeing that kind of money in that short of a period of time. Yeah, it's a little disconcerting. Thank you, folks.
Our final speaker is Terry Raines.
Congratulations, City Clerk Ashton Arocho and your staff for being recognized tonight, item 1A. And happy birthday, Christine. I hope running this city hasn't aged you too much. Keep up the great work. I sent an email with proposed corrections to the minutes, as you heard, for March 27th meeting, item 3.1. On the warrant register, item 3.2, there were 41 checks paid to Jones and Mayer, totaling almost $85,000 for just 2 weeks. Annualized, that would be over $2.2 million. I sent emails about other warrant register entries, including the Quan Chi Victory Foundation lawsuit settlement of $50,000. Coincidentally, the exact same amount I suggested the city settle for when the claim was first filed in late 2021. The city refused to settle then, and as a result has cost us taxpayers dearly in the form of legal fees. Not sure why, but the court's website still shows a jury trial scheduled for June 17th. FYI, their foundation appears to have had their tax exemption status revoked and have not filed required documents with the state and/or IRS. Item 3.4, I sent emails about errors on the 3 proposed proclamations. Item 7, one of Councilmember Nguyen's Westminster Community Foundation appointees resigned last month, and one of Mayor Nguyen's resigned effective next month, but still no item on the agenda to appoint replacements. After just 1 year, only 4 of the original 11 appointees remain on the board. There have been substantial delays in council appointing replacements, hindering the foundation's progress. The foundation should amend their bylaws to become truly autonomous, removing the city council's involvement entirely from the organization and allowing them to fill their own vacancies. Items 2 and 8, oral communications. Here are some excerpts from your Code of Conduct, Council. Making the public feel welcome is an important part of the democratic process. No signs of partiality, prejudice, or disrespect should be evident toward an individual participating in a public forum. Every effort should be made to be fair and impartial to listening to the public testimony by welcoming speakers and treating them with care and gentleness. While questions of clarification may be asked, the official's primary role during public testimony is to listen. Practice active listening. Avoid pessimistic body language. Ask for clarification if you must, but avoid debate and argument with the public. Council members should never interrupt public speakers. Charlie, Amy, and Namquan signed to affirm that they read and understood the Code of Conduct, but flagrantly violated at every damn meeting. Charlie lectures us about the public's rules of decorum while he and his 2 cohorts violate the council members' decorum rules incessantly. We need a clause that requires council members to remain seated at the dais during public comments, but then they would ignore that too. I'm providing a first quarter attendance report card for these 3. Refusal to stay and actively listen respectfully to public comments is a violation of our First Amendment rights. It is literally your job to listen to us. If you can't take criticism from the public, you don't belong in public office. And thank you, Vice Mayor Ho, for your introduction to that concern of the public. We really should just get through oral comments without the council's comments. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Ho, we have no more public speakers.
Thank you. So now we move on to consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by a single motion followed by a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the City Council and staff request that specific items be removed from the consent calendar for separate action or discussion. Are there any requests to pull an item or items from the consent calendar?
I'd just like to pull 3.2 for comment, which is the warrant register.
Okay. Anything else?
Motion to approve, and adding the, was there amendments, including the amendments read by the city clerk?
Okay. We have a second?
And pull,
My second? You want a second?
I thought you got a second. Sure, second.
Okay, I have a motion made by Councilmember Monzo, a second made by Councilwoman Fan West. That is to approve the consent calendar with item 3.2 pulled for separate discussion with the amendment to 3.1 attachment B. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West,
Yes.
Councilmember Monzo,
yes.
and Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0.
Okay, so 3.2.
Yes, so thank you, Vice Mayor and members of the City Council. There were some, was it 3.2? Yes. So there were some concerns that were raised regarding the warrant registers. Just wanted to clarify that you'll see a surge in some of these invoices. Unfortunately, the way that the invoices are reviewed by staff, you see multiple entries which actually correlate to multiple invoices. So every time there's a batch of invoices that are provided to the city for review, they come in with different invoice numbers based on like whether it's a topic or a department, et cetera. So it's going to look like a lot. I unfortunately, and I will own up to this, because I have to manually review many of the invoices that are, let's say, related to the city council, related to certain special projects, et cetera. As you can understand, I am quite busy with a different load, and I've actually been behind on some of those invoices and reviews. So the batches that you see are ones that I've been able to review, in a larger substantial amount, which is why you see a larger number. It's actually not reflective of a surge of work for this particular time frame. They're actually invoices that have spanned several months, and unfortunately, it takes a long time for me to review them. So I just wanted to clarify that. It's not a surge of activity per se.
Okay.
A question, can we get a report as far as the amount that's we're paying to our city attorney's office for the fiscal year?
Yes, so our finance director can provide that information. I don't think she's,
Not today. I mean,
Yeah,
that's too much to ask for. I'm just, when you
Yes.
get time.
yes.
Thank you.
So that'll actually be part of, so our budget study session is scheduled for May 8th, prior to the regular meeting. So part of what you'll be able to see is the spending for this previous fiscal year, and you'll be able to see that amount.
Okay. And can we also, at that time frame, can you give us some comparisons with the past years?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion to approve 3.2?
Motion to approve?
I second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Thank you. I have a motion made by Councilmember Monzo, a second made by Councilwoman Fan West. This is to receive and file. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West,
Yes.
Councilmember Monzo,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0.
Okay, so we have no public hearing, and so we move on to regular business. The first one is 5.1, item 5.1. It's amendment to number 1 to the agreement with Municipal Water District of Orange County, that we normally call it MODOC, for the sharing of consultant costs to complete the lead and copper service line inventory. Does anybody want to discuss that or ask questions?
Can we just have a really quick as possible staff report?
From Jake?
Yeah.
Yes, please, Jake.
Sure. Good evening, Vice Mayors and Council members. This item is the amendment number 1 to the MODOC agreement. So Just briefly to go through the program real quick, the U.S. EPA just recently published what they call the revision for lead and copper study that require all water agencies that serving more than 50,000 residents to do such study. And our system we service about 93,000 residents on that. On the previous agreement, we agree with MODOC is to do the initial studies. And by joining the MODOC study, we're able to save, when we do with other agencies, we're able to save a lot of money using the same consultant. With the phase 1, they discover additional item that we need to do based on the number of data that we provided. Initial data was 3,200, a little more than 3,200 connection that we have to do. Then further information that reduced down to 1,600. And we need to have this database established by, I believe, October, October 16, 2024. We need to have this data available to the public. So this is the phase 2 that we need to establish the database for that study and that inventory. So we need to have this approved and move forward so we can meet the deadline set by EPA. I also have Scott Mueller, our water superintendent, here tonight, so he can answer any additional question that you might have.
Okay, thank you.
So the conclusion is that we will now pay $346,922. So what is this, the amount, this amount of 206? That was the previous amount before adding on?
Yes, the previous amount was the initial amount that we were thinking of. It's 140,000 before, and then with the phase 1, and then when we do the phase 2 with additional discovery and requirements, that means we have to find out from the city side, which is a meter, and then also the customer side as well. Those are a lot of time for the consultant to go through, and sometimes they have to, I believe they have to dig it up, in a certain area to find out what material those are. Are they lead and copper, or it's just galvanized pipe? What type of materials of those? And then, if that's been identified, then we have to replace them by the requirements. So.
At that time, if there's any issues found that need additional service, that would be reported to the customer, right?
Yeah, so if the study find that we have the lead and galvanized pipe being in place, then we have to have a plan to how we can replace it, and then customer will be informed, and we have to coordinate with the homeowner how to do that.
All right, thank you.
But when you initially asked for funding, 206,362, did you not include phase 1 and phase 2? Or was there something wrong that led you to have to move on to phase 2?
No, because this is a new program that nobody understands what that is. But with the phase 1, then we have more information, and now how many services that we have to do. So that the additional $206,000 on the phase 2 that we have to do, as well as establish a database available to the public.
Okay, thank you.
And do you have an estimate about how much we would be saving joining the other groups as opposed to doing it all ourselves?
Yes, when we joined with MODOC, we estimate by doing that, we save about $31,000. But that can be more as it continues, what we find out. Because this particular consultant or contractor that working together with MODOC that serve many other agencies, and they are doing the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so do we have a motion for 5.2? Would you like it?
I motion to approve.
A second.
No, I'm sorry, that was 5.1.
Yeah.
Apologize.
I motion to approve.
A second.
Okay, roll call.
Thank you. I have a motion made by Councilwoman Fan West, a second made by Councilmember Monzo. This is to approve Amendment Number 1 to the existing agreement with Municipal Water District of Orange County in the amount of $206,362 and authorize the city manager to execute the amendment on behalf of the city. I'll go ahead and call roll. Councilwoman Fan West,
Yes.
Councilmember Monzo,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho,
Yes.
3-0 motion carried.
Okay, so we move on to item number 5.2, award of engineering design services agreements for the soccer field installation project at Sigler Park and the baseball infield renovation project at Buckingham and Westminster Parks. You have any questions, or would you like a staff report?
Just I have a couple questions. I mean, I don't know if I need a staff report. The Buckingham Park part of this, portion of this agenda, so that Buckingham Park was that the funding for that was allocated, I mean, I'm kind of guesstimating the timeline. I'm guessing a year and a half ago, approximately. How come we haven't done anything with that particular project for a year and a half?
Absolutely. So, when we get the ARPA fund approved for playground and the ball diamonds improvements, we have gone through a vetting system with different consultants and sees who can do that. So we started not a contract, but engaged with a consultant to go through and do the walk with them all the way to the end, ready to issue the agreement, and they keep asking us for the waiver or do something different. They won't sign the agreement with us. So that's why it's taking too long. And then we said, with the deadline coming up, we cannot wait for them to, continue with discussing with our agreement. So we have to secure the consultant to do that. So that's the reason why there's a little time delay on that process.
So that was a different consultant than Hirsch?
It wasn't Hirsch. Yeah, it's somebody else.
Okay. But still, how long did that process take? But a year and a half is quite a long time. Like, how long do you typically wait if you're not getting an answer from somebody?
Well, during the process, we have to clear with the environmental process as well. So that kind of taking into account to environmental process, negotiating, do the walk with the contractor, negotiate with them, and ready to take it all the way to the agreement, and it didn't fan out. So we have to start that process again with Hearst and Associate.
The reason I'm asking because I'm concerned about it because, with the ARPA, we are on a deadline. So this is how long do you think this process is going to take from, let's say, this gets approved today, okay? What's the process going to be before we start construction?
Absolutely. So with the deadlines coming, knowing the deadline coming, we discussed with Hearst and Associate, and our goal is to have the playgrounds, the pickleballs projects, as well as all 5 ball diamonds, and the soccer field as well, will be awarded by November this year.
And then construction?
Construction for the playground will be delayed a little bit because when we purchase the equipment, it takes about, I would say, 4 to 6 months for the equipment. So we anticipate probably around April or May next year because of the delay of the equipment. But the ball diamond improvements or the pickleball court, we can roll into that probably in a month before we start, which is probably, I would say, beginning of January of next year. Mm-hmm. And then the soccer field probably going to be a couple months, just within that time frame.
So it's all we're gonna get everything allocated and paid for before what is the date 2026? Is it January 2026?
The construction will definitely going to be done by next year, completed by next year.
June 2025.
Yes. Oh, well, I mean, just the playground will be in probably about a couple months. The longest one probably going to be the soccer fields. The reason is you're dealing with the lighting, you're dealing with regrading that whole entire area. You have to have a grass grow. So it will take time, but we're definitely going to finish it before the deadline of the ARPA fund. We're trying to commit the project before the end of this year, which we will.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're not rushing to complete at the last minute, and because we're going to be at risk of losing funding for this. Mm-hmm. And then when can we see a scope of work? Because I'm interested in seeing the scope of work.
Absolutely, I can bring it back. So the scope of work of the ball diamonds improvements, basically at that time when we have the ARPA fund identified and we pull the scope of work together. with staff at that time, there was only do the infill improvements. That means we laser graded, bring in the brick dust in, and then improve or replace the backstops. At those 5, actually 6, but now we're not doing a sigler, so it's only 5 fills, and also provide a cover over a dugout area, which I think that was your request, and which we talked to hers, and what we plan to do is instead of doing a metal canopy over, which is very expensive and taking time, we're going to do a fabric, which is very similar to all the playground that we have, and it will last a long time as well. And then any additional fencing improvement that we need to do. So that was the scope of the project at that time.
Okay. Well, can you look at that fabric? Because I don't, just when you say fabric and the fabric, I'm thinking of, I can't imagine it's going to last for very long.
Like an awning? Like an
If you
awning
look at it,
fabric?
those are, like, for example, let's say the outdoor exercise equipment behind the senior centers, that's been there at least 10 years or more.
Is that similar to what you're talking about?
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's
I'll
pretty
look
much
at
the
that.
outdoor fabric that cover, provide a shade to anything underneath.
All right. And then when going forward, can you keep providing council with updates of where we are at,
Absolutely. we
where
can.
we're at with the process?
Yes, sir. I think our goal is to, when we go out, when we do the outreach for the next 3 parks for the playground as well as the pickleball court, staff will bring back and give you, where are we as far as the project, what kind of design that we have, as well as status based on, pickleball court or no pickleball court, and also some rendering about the soccer fields and then any improvement for the ball diamonds as well.
Okay. So yeah, so right now, we're just talking about the Buckingham and the park and baseball improvements and also the 2 soccer fields, correct?
Yes, Buckingham and Westminster, 2 field at Westminster, so 3 at Buckingham, so
Oh,
that's 5
right.
total.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Okay. So yeah, please bring us some updates. I don't know, what do you feel comfortable with, every other month, every month?
We think but in
Couple months?
So-
What do you suggest?
So, Councilmember, we are working on a master list where we're going to be providing to the council a status progress on every project, and we haven't decided what the appropriate
Time?
reporting time will be, but it won't be quarterly, it'll be less than quarterly.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Thank you.
Sounds great. I just have a quick question. ARPA fund, what's the spending deadline? I thought it was like December of,
I think you have to get done
This
by,
year.
I think, yes, it has to be committed to a project by the end of this year, which
Okay.
we plan to go to the council to award all those contracts in November. So that's we committed. And then you still have the time, I think, until the end of 2026 to complete and execute those projects.
oh, I see. Okay, great. Thank you.
I have last question. So Jake, who determined those 2 parks to have a soccer field or a baseball field? Who do that determination? Who does that determination? The staff or the resident in that area?
So to answer your question for the ball diamonds improvements, since we have those 5 existing, so we just improve those. So it's not a decision, it's there already, so we just make the improvement to those existing ball diamonds. For the soccer fields, Sigler Park is the only park that we have the space to do soccer fields, and I think that's a council's approved that proposal that I think 2 meetings ago when we talked about the ARPA fund. And again, Sigler Park is the only one that we have room to do. Other parks, sometimes we under the Edison right away. We think we have room, but we don't, because that's their requirement that you cannot put any structure or anything underneath those power line.
Okay, and would you guys also do outreaches for that community as well, right? For the baseball?
For the
Even
baseball,
though-
again, we improving the existing ball field, so there's no outreach
I'm
needed.
sorry, the soccer field, I'm sorry.
The soccer fields,
Are you going to do
basically, the
outreaches?
council approved it, and we put the soccer field in the space of the underutilized ball diamonds. So, so that's why we'll make it a better space for putting a soccer field in. Vanessa can answer that question. Sorry.
Yes, we'll do some outreach, letting them know what's coming. And it was also part of the park master plan that we did that was approved in 2020, that this community needed soccer fields. We do not have dedicated space currently, so this will give us 2 dedicated spaces with lights to allow for that use. But we will definitely ensure that the community knows that. We've heard the community, they want soccer, so we're happy to be able to bring that to them.
Okay, that's good. I know the community would appreciate
Absolutely.
to give input. Thank you.
Yes.
I motion to approve if that's okay.
So we have a
Yeah.
motion, and a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion made by Councilwoman Fan West, a second made by Councilmember Monzo. This is to approve the award of engineering design services agreements in the total amount of $124,460 to Hirsch and Associates Incorporation for the soccer field installation project at Sigler Park and the baseball infield renovation project at Buckingham and Westminster Parks, and authorize the city manager to execute the agreements on behalf of the city. I'll go ahead and call roll. Councilwoman Fan West,
Fan West, yes?
Councilmember Monzo,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho,
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
Okay, so next is legislative item. We have none. And then the following is commission and committee item, none.
We do have oral
We do?
communication, non-agenda. Next.
That is next? Okay, thank you. So we will now have oral communication, non-agenda. Do
Thank
we
you,
have any
Vice Mayor.
speakers?
Yes, thank you. This is the time of the meeting that members of the public may address the City Council regarding any non-agenda items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction unless otherwise extended by a majority vote of the City Council. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Any person wishing to address the City Council in person should complete a yellow speaker slip that is provided at the entrance to the council chambers and submit the card to the city clerk. When your name is called, please step to the podium at that time and state your name and city of residence for the record. Our first speaker is Gail Perlow.
Hi, good evening. My name is Gail Perlow, and I am up here for the first time in your council meeting. I am a fairly new resident of Westminster. I have lived in Westminster for the last 2 years in Westminster Village, and I'm coming here about a concern on 14222 Infield Circle. There's a sober living facility in the works, and I have sympathy for the people that have sobriety and addiction issues, and caring for them is a worthwhile endeavor. However, the safety of the community and neighborhood is also a worthwhile pursuit. There are significant safety issues for me. I am deaf. I am a disabled adult living around the corner from the proposed sober living facility. How is Westminster City Council members and the police going to protect me from potential crime and harm with my ADA rights once the facility opens? That's one question. Other locations have multiple reports of crime, assault, and questionable and illegal activities in their neighborhoods. How are you going to prevent negative incidents from occurring in this neighborhood? The street that they are putting this sober living facility in has 27 children living there, and multiple children in the neighborhood exceed 125. We are 3/4 of a mile from the elementary school. I have very big concerns with this. From my research, there has been no oversight on the state level or any professional licensing required within the state, the county, or the city of Westminster. There is not a person that's going to be on site that has credentials in the mental health field to help these people bridge the gap from sober living back to the community. It's my understanding, and I've done a lot of research on this for the last 2 weeks, that if there are 6 residents or less, there's no oversight, no registration, no regulation. The person who's going to manage the sober living facility doesn't have anything in the way of medical credentials. And this particular person has another facility in Huntington Beach. So there has been issues there. I guess I really can't go on. There were supposed to be more people speaking tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Aaron Hatch.
We were told not to come till 8:30, so there are multiple people who were expecting to speak today, and there was a misunderstanding. They were told not to show up and by the city, by someone that they spoke to in the city, till 8:30 this evening. So I pre-filled out a couple cards, but there were multiple people who wanted to speak on this facility that's being opened.
I apologize, but we usually don't know how long it takes for us to go through our, through our agenda until we get to oral communication, not non-agenda. So it's hard to gauge and say, I'm sorry.
Can you speak out of the microphone? I am sorry. So I can hear you without the echo.
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, well, it's hard usually there isn't a specific time. It depends on how long the agenda is for the meeting. So today it happens that we don't have a lot on agenda, and so we will be, we start oral communication early. So it just depends on the meeting.
Excuse me.
Would they come to another meeting, or how would that work? I'm sorry, I don't know the...
Can you
next
speak?
meeting?
Our deputy chief he can get with you, and he's want to talk to you, and he can help you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very much.
Yeah, and
Great.
Gail, we
Thank
just
you.
want to let you know, may I speak? Gail, I just want to let you know, you are in District 1, and the mayor's in that district as well, in my district. So we will talk with the police department, the chief of police, to see what we can do, okay? Thank you. Weber, CD Weber, he will take care, he'll give you his information, and then we'll go from there. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So our next speaker is Terry Raines.
Hello, great Earth Day events at our 2 parks. Staff did a fantastic job, as usual. I arrived a bit late to Margie L. Rice Park, but enjoyed seeing the new trees that were planted earlier that day. Sitting through the last council meeting until midnight was unbearably painful. The night was chock full of the usual feuds between council members. When will it ever end? Mayor Nguyen missing his 3rd regular meeting plus a study session in just 7 months is unfortunate. I don't think Pre Todd missed that many meetings in his entire decade as mayor. Am I wrong? Via public records request, I learned that the city received 2 complimentary exhibitor passes for reserving a booth at the ICSC conference, so the city did not have to pay a registration fee for Mayor Nguyen and one other attendee. Why wasn't this mentioned during the council meeting discussions? Last Thursday, Amy posted on her official page that she is seeking visionary developers passionate about revitalizing 2 areas near Bolsa Chica Street and Westminster Boulevard, asking them to leave her a voicemail, but she provided no number, just her email address. On Friday, I emailed staff asking for the addresses or parcel numbers of the properties she is referring to. Are they private or public property? Why hasn't the city officially announced this? Isn't it risky to have developers respond to a single council member who may not fully understand planning and development processes and law? Besides, isn't that what attendees will be doing at the ICSC conference? No response received thus far to that email or many others. Amy was on Full Bolsa TV on April 15th, fanning flames and creating chaos and division as usual. She's obsessed with identifying 2 strategic plan workshop participants, council members or staff, who submitted Vietnamese Vietnamese media and/or politics for the SWOT analysis threat list. Amy, why didn't you report that the bulk of the weaknesses submitted were attributable to the city council, mostly you, no doubt, and the bulk of the strengths submitted were attributable to staff leadership? Amy, you are the biggest single threat to our city. Lest we forget Amy's comment in response to Michael Berenja's public comment at the February 14th City Council meeting, quote, so Michael, you know, it's funny that you said that, you know, I sent my husband for an RV. We don't even have RVs parked. So I don't know where you got that information from, unquote. Really, Amy? Because today, 75 residents submitted a 17-page complaint with voluminous, compelling evidence demanding a formal investigation into your alleged abuse of power and position, intimidation of city staff, illegal use of public resources for financial gain, repeated violations of the city's municipal code, numerous unpaid RV parking tickets, and to ascertain whether or not you are receiving special preferential treatment from the city's police department. So, liar, liar, pants on fire. Voters, especially in District 1 and the media, English and Vietnamese language, are going to have a field day with this one. So, mic drop.
So that's not
No,
true.
I'm sorry.
So,
No,
Terry, I think you need to do more investigation.
No, please. Next, please.
Our next speaker is Michael Berenja.
Thank you. I didn't stick around till midnight the last meeting, but I wanted to thank the city manager and all of the city staff and those that participated on March 29th with Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans. I truly enjoyed seeing the turnout there, and that was on very short notice, and that was just an outstanding presentation, and I look forward to next year because I think it's going to be a bigger turnout. It was very, very nice. Back on April 12th, on Friday, I attended a community meeting at Calvary Chapel West Grove, right on the other side of Garden Grove Boulevard over there. And the guest speaker was our city council member who sits down the end there. If somebody were to walk in and didn't know anything about Westminster, they would swear that it is a one-person city council, because she obviously is the only one that gets anything done on the city. Not one of these other four members of the council was ever mentioned, was ever talked about in the space of we as a council. There was a lot of I, and me thrown in there, which I was amazed at. I was so amazed that I had to video an hour and a half of that and put it on Facebook because I didn't think anybody would actually believe me. But they did. They saw it right there on video. And the sad thing was, it was a very nice group of church people there. And it's a really nice place. So I was disappointed to see the pat myself on the back speech there. Also, Amy, you represent District 1, not 1st District. There is no 1st District, 2nd District, 3rd District, 4th District. It's District 1, District 2, District 3, and District 4, and we have a mayor that represents the entire city. You need to stay away from that because it makes you sound like a narcissist. Oh, wait, that's right, never mind. Also, your RVs, I just recently read about that, and I guess you must have misspoken there that you don't have any RVs. So, oh well, I guess it'll all come out in the wash sooner or later. Thank you, folks.
Thank you. Next, please.
Our next speaker is Tony Bowie.
Good evening, Vice Mayor Kimberly Hall, City
evening.
Council Manzo, and City Council Amy West, and also City Manager Kristen Gordon, and my wonderful City Attorney Bettenhausen. and all of the people who've been working for the city in the past years. You are wonderful, making our city a great place for many people. Today, I came here on a non-agenda item on behalf of the people who used to do a lot of park and recreation. Today, I would like to submit a petition from the people who would like to ask your permission to convert 2 of the tennis court from the Tony Lamb Park into racquetball court. Because why? Because racquetball become a popular sport. You can go to My Square Park. They convert 2 tennis courts into 8 courts. You go to Golden West College. They convert 6 of their courts into 24 racquetball courts. So we have only 3 courts right now at Ziegler Park, and they will have it on maintenance and will close down for 2 weeks. Jack will know about that. So hereby, I have a list of around 120 people who sign and would like to make a request to petition to convert 2 existing tennis courts at Tony Lamb Park on McFadden Street to 8 pickleball courts, and at no cost to the city of Westminster. Who will take care of the cost? We, on the players, will take care of it. You don't need to take out the tennis net. They will have the movable tennis pickleball net. And they don't need to repaint the things because they will put the tapes for the court. So that is the good proposal, and would like to city council members and even our mayor, Charlie Nguyen or City Council Nam Quang Nguyen, we all together help the people, especially the old people or senior people like me, to have a chance to play racquetball. All right, thank you very much. I will support this to you.
Vice Mayor, if I can clarify that, did you mean racquetball with the walls around it, or pickleball?
No, you don't need to do anything.
Okay, so you're referring to the pickleball courts?
Pickleball.
Okay, because racquetball is the one with the walls on it, and it's a totally different sport. So, okay, pickleball. Okay, pickleball. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Our final speaker is Tammy Hamill.
Good evening, Tammy Hamill, Westminster resident. I'm here to speak on the speech that she gave at the church on April 12th as well. I wasn't there because I didn't really know about it until the day of, because she didn't announce it to any of her constituents. I guess it was just done through the church. So clearly she does not want certain people there. She only wants people that agree with her. But it was about telling people how to vote. She was bad-mouthing the current administration. It was very divisive. One of the main things that stood out to me, because I did watch the videos that were on Facebook, the nauseating videos that were on there. The misinformation that she puts out, just in general, is astounding. And she's proud of it. She laughs, she giggles, she makes jokes at other people's expense. She continually speaks for other people, staff members, council members, and she shouldn't. You can barely speak intelligently for yourself, so you need to stop speaking for other people. One of the things that she said is that law enforcement that she speaks to cannot wait until Trump is reelected because they can start deporting people. Correct, Amy? Now, as divisive as things are already, the last thing you need to do is say anything about who police officers are for or against. It's not your place. It's not your business. You're doing it on purpose because you're trying to get points with your MAGA crowd and your Christian crowd. You need to stop doing it. Stick to actual city work that will maybe do something good for residents instead of your self-serving agenda. The bullshit that you put out there, the Bible verses that you continually put online, you're the antithesis of what all that stands for. You can't even look at people when they're speaking to you. You have had your face down the entire time because you're too chicken shit to take criticism that you create. You can't even look up. And then you have the nerve to sit here and call residents liars. You haven't even looked at what Terry sent, and you're like, that's not true, that's not true. I looked at some of it, looks pretty true. And based on your other actions and words, that you're just a liar. You just go out there and spew bullshit. You don't mean any of it. You're just out for yourself. And I wonder, with all those, your church people there, did you ever tell any of them that you called residents communist pedophiles? Because that's absolutely true. That is on Facebook in black and white. So I can get your printout if you'd like that. Because is that something that Jesus would do? What part of the Bible did you learn that from? To call people such disgusting names because they don't agree with you politically.
Thank you. Do we have any more?
We do have one more. Diane Weinstock.
Hello, council members.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Diane Weinstock, and I live on Enfield Circle in Westminster. I've been a resident for 25 years, and I am here tonight to speak about the Sober Living House. I spoke with the resident who lives at 14222 Enfield Circle, and she has stated that she's going to make her home into a sober living home. Our community is a very, very tight community, and we're very concerned, and we're really upset with this information. We all live in the Westminster Village, and we all look out after each other. We have approximately 20 children on Enfield Circle, which is where I reside, along with a senior citizen, along with some senior citizens who live alone. We have filed a petition with change.org to address this issue and received 225 signatures with our community. We all do not want this sober living house in our community. It brings crime, and it makes it difficult for the neighbors living next to 14222 Enfield Circle. Our neighborhood is zoned for R1 zoning and is for single-family residents. This sober living is considered a business, and we want the permit to not be issued to 14222 Enfield Circle. Council, we are asking for your help in this matter. Here is the list of the 225 signatures that we did on change.org. Here is our flyers we sent out to the whole neighborhood in the Westminster Village. We will not stop here. Do you guys want to see the list?
Yes, can you leave it with our city clerk?
And here's the flyer. We had a QR code, and everybody signed it, and that's how many we had addressed. I would like to be put onto the agenda for next council meeting so that I can get my community care, which a lot of them are coming tonight. They're just coming a little later. That's my next item that I'd like to be put on the agenda.
So Diane, you are in my district. This is Councilwoman Amy Fanwes.
Oh, hi.
So hi, how are you?
Hi, Amy Pam. Nice to meet you.
Could you hold it? I'm going to speak. We're not going to respond. I apologize. For the next meeting, you don't need to agendize anything. You just need to just let people know to come. And we don't know how long the session is going to take, the meeting's going to take. So the oral depends. You can always tell, like the Thursday or Friday before that, you can gauge how long it's going to take. But it's not something that we put on the agenda for you to speak on.
I thought we're
So-
not having brief comment, but I guess the vice mayor decide to. But we'll talk after. That's fine. We can talk after.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So it's a little more complicated. I understand what you're trying to ask. So I definitely don't want any members of the council to, be conflicted out, because just based on right now, we're not able to to provide any information, because there is a due process for any time that there is permitting requirements, and then of course sober living homes, the requirements for that are also complicated as well, and there is a hearing process. So I do recommend that you don't want to conflict yourself out by having additional conversations that without the context of what the project is. So what I would actually suggest for the council, in a general purpose, not related to this particular item, the issue about sober living homes, there's actually a lot of movement at the state level regarding sober living homes, and I actually think it would be beneficial to the entire council. Maybe we do a study session regarding what some of those laws look like, et cetera, obviously for educational purposes, and city attorney can weigh in on that, but we certainly don't want to make any prejudiced,
I agree. I agree, but my...
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
The vice mayor's going to...
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Please, it's not time for you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I would just caution, because again, we have to, we do have to provide that due process. So.
I would just add, I do have an expert in-house that's done a lot. This has been a big issue in Costa Mesa in particular.
Big issue.
Lots of litigation there that Tarquin in our office handled. He's very much up to speed on this issue, so it might be a good study session to have understanding. The issue, I don't know anything about this particular one, but there are a lot of limitations when they're 6 or under, and the main reason for that is that they're trying to bring these types of things and these uses into R1 zones to make it, not always force them out into these commercial industrial zones where it's not really habitable. And I understand that
too.
creates an impact. But there are certain things cities can do. Costa Mesa is a very good example of.
Right. I'm just concerned because we have a lot of children a lot of children.
And you'll have an opportunity, in your community as well through the due process, whether it's the public hearing or just coming to our council meetings, under oral communications. If you're not able to make the meeting, as Vice Mayor stated that we don't know when that oral communications portion is, you are always more than welcome to submit letters of commenting, et cetera. But there is a process for it. Right now, it's a little bit preliminary for us to have any extensive discussion about their project per se, because we as staff need to look at what that looks like and move them along, their due process. So, but we appreciate your comments. But I would say for council's purposes, an upcoming study session would make sense.
Thank you, City Manager. I really appreciate that. The way we don't start speaking out of, like you said, out of turn or speaking something we're not sure
I'm
of.
in the same neighborhood as Charlie.
Yeah.
He lives on the next street over.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
In the meantime, you can speak to our deputy chief who's behind you. He can help you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
CD Weber, can you give her your business card, please?
Okay, so do we have any more speakers?
Vice Mayor, we do not.
Okay.
So may I make a short comment now after all the public comment?
No.
No, may I ask the city attorney, what's the law, what's the rule right now? Can we speak after the public comments are all done now?
Are we on council comments?
No, right now, we are at comments from City Council, and you could speak then, including AB 1234 report. So if you'd like to speak, we are moving on to comments from City Council. Would you
Yeah.
like to go first?
Sure, I
Go ahead.
appreciate that. So regarding addressing the two public comment at the end there, by the way, that event that I went to I was invited by the church, West Grove, to be one of the speaker for the church event, speaking to the church people regarding church stuff and encouraging them to get involved in the election. So whatever information you got, since you weren't even there, and not everything was create a video for that hour and a half. It was not video an hour and a half completely. So basically, number one, I'm still talking right now. I have the floor. Thank you. So please don't interrupt. And Vice Mayor, you need to let the public know not
Well,
to
I just
interrupt.
did.
That's the order.
Yeah,
Thank
please.
you. So let me finish. I have the floor right now. So number one, that event I did not host by the Councilwoman of Westminster. That event was hosted by the church. So number one, let me correct you. Please get the correct information.
Please.
I didn't do it. I'm speaking. Thank you. So that's one. So thank you for letting me correct you. And number two, communist pedophile, I'll never say that, and that's not in my vocabulary. So please screenshot where I actually said that. And you know I did not say that. I would not call any resident that. That's just an opinion. So if you have that opinion, then that's
Please,
yours.
please.
But thank you, Ms.
It's
Vice Mayor.
council member's turn to speak, please.
Thank you, Ms. Vice Mayor. So basically, communist pedophile or pedo, whatever you want to call it, I never said it. So number one, I want to correct you on that. That's not in my vocabulary, and I don't say that thing. So you can screenshot wherever you think I said that and show proof. The proof is on you, not me. So if you claim that, show proof. And then Diane Weinstock, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate your voicing your grievances, because that's the citizen's job, that you come to the local government and tell us your grievances, and we appreciate that. But of course, there's a lot of things that Sacramento's doing, as you understand, are making very difficult for local control. So do all you can as a resident in the city of Westminster to fight back against Sacramento. We will stand with the resident to provide that local control, public safety, and always to make sure everyone feel safe in the city of Westminster. So I want to make sure you understand that. And we'll try all we can, like how Costa Mesa, our city attorney, have recommended. Maybe we might go down the same path, but we'll figure out after a closed session to see what we can do legally without being fined by the state of California. Thank you. And then also, let me see what else. So I just want to share with you guys, I recently went on the water little road trip up to Sacramento to share with you guys what I've learned. So basically, the site reservoir, it's gonna be complete. Hopefully, within 7 years from now, that will be the 8th largest reservoir that we need to provide water for Northern California and Southern California. So the site reservoir project involves the construction of newly 1.5 million acre-feet water storage reservoir in Northern California. When constructed, it will be the 8th largest reservoir in the state and the 2nd largest off-stream reservoir. This will be the state equivalent to the Metropolitan Diamond Valley Reservoir and be twice that size. This is an important project to our entire state, and including about 25% of the reservoir capacity to be allocated to the Metropolitan Water District, which is our district here in Orange County. Which benefit Orange County with new import supply, critically importantly to meet the needs of our residents and businesses here, while developing local source of new water is critically important, so is securing supply outside of our area so that we import high quality and reliable sources that help us to make local supply viable and to make up for what we are losing due to climate change and the loss of snowpack. Site reservoir will be 100% rain-fed from Sacramento River, which drain the largest watershed in our state. The project will divert water during high flows and flood period in the North State, and then release the water back into the river and through the delta to eventually mix its way into the Southland for use during the dry periods. This is exactly the kind of strategy that the governor have identified that we need to implement statewide to secure our future water supplies for our change condition in our state. In fact, last year, the governor and state legislature enacted a set of bills aimed to deliver this crucial water infrastructure. So this will be done and operate by the end of 2032. I just want to let you guys know that. And also, I know that Orange County needs to support this project, and we need to encourage the Metropolitan Water District Board of Directors to continue this important involvement in this project and see it through to completion to secure the project's benefit to our community here in Orange County. So I just want to encourage you guys with one thing. I know that I've been reading the constitutional rights because that is your rights, and I just want to share the 7th and 8th Amendment tonight. The 7th Amendment guarantee the right to jury trial in civic cases, ensuring citizen...
Sorry to interrupt you, Councilmember West. City Attorney, is this something that we're not out here, is this within our jurisdiction, subject jurisdiction in the city of Westminster?
I defer to the chair in terms of deferring as to whether or not it's within the subject matter jurisdiction. As a general rule, during public or council comments, you almost treat it like that's their public 3 minutes of time to be able to speak on something.
I think it's been a lot longer.
I defer to the chair in terms of
How much longer?
I have only one paragraph, and I'm done.
I would let
Thank
her,
you. I
please.
appreciate
Go ahead.
that.
Go for it.
Okay. So the 7th Amendment guarantees the right to a jury trial in civic cases, ensuring citizens have a fair process when resolving disputes. The 8th Amendment prohibits cruel and unusual punishment, safeguarding against excessive penalties, and ensuring humane treatment within the criminal justice system. These rights are vital as they uphold principles of fairness, justice, and protection of individual liberty for American citizens. So with that, I want to say thank you so much all for coming. Thank you, staff, for staying to support our local governance. And thank you, resident, for coming out and speaking your mind and giving us input. And so in that way, the council and mayor can know how to help protect your right and protect and defend the city, the resident here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilmember Manzo?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yes, I want to echo some of that. Thank you for all you to come out and inform us of what's going on in your particular street, neighborhood. Sometimes that's the only way that us council members and staff and our police department, if you have not called them, that we can be made aware of what's going on in your particular home or surrounding area. So thank you for that. I just want to say, I know there's a lot of, some of the speakers were angry and talking about what can and cannot be done. I personally feel that we should refrain, at least I think I would not do that, refrain from, having political speeches in churches. I think that kind of puts a stain on the good work that churches do, because I think that a politician is the complete opposite of what the image that Jesus was kind of speaking of, complete polar opposites. So that's why I think we should refrain from that kind of, I wouldn't want to do that and put that strain on a church that's doing good work. I just want to kind of give you some information of our community here in Westminster. I've been seeing for many years, but I see where our community is tight-knit, and we support each other and come out and support our staff and the good work that we do here. We have another great addition for our children to get out there and exercise with the new playground that had a new ribbon cutting at the Sigler Park. Thank you, staff. Thank you for all the hard work and the design and bringing that new to our communities for our children, so they can get out there and burn up some of that energy and stay away from the TV and the phones. They need to get out there and play and sweat, exercise. So thank you for that. Had a really good time at the Garden Grove State of the City. It was very moving, a very tribute to the Mayor Steve Jones and his 25 years of public service. A lot of emotional speeches from folks who've known him. And the concession of that is that his superpower is something that I strive to someday do, is be the unifier of the council and the unifier of his community. And that was something that I took away from that. And that is, when you meet the mayor, you can tell that is his superpower, that he's just well-liked and well-loved in his whole community and his council, because some of his council colleagues were moving when speaking about what he has brought to their community. The next thing, I went to Earth Day over at Margie L. Rice Park. Had a really good turnout. Thank you, Jake. Please extend my gratitude to the Public Works team. We got out there and really did a good thing for the community, good participation, and all our community partners for coming out and informing our community of what's the services that they provide. So I had a really good time there on Earth Day. Also, reminder again for the small businesses that for the award ceremony that we're going to honor them. So if anybody wants to nominate a small business, please do so. Nominations are due by May 2nd. And also, too, let's not forget, today we all wore denim to recognize sexual assault awareness in this month. And, sadly, this is still going on in our community and our society. That just because whatever a woman wears gives you consent to abuse somebody, that's not something that we should be having in our society and this time and age. So just make sure that we be aware and talk about that with something that we need to prevent. And also, I want to thank and congratulate again to our staff for the Garden Grove Green Street Trail. I know Adolfo was a big champion of that, and thank you for all the staff and all the hard work, and it's recognized, so you're well deserving of that award. So thank you for that. Congratulations. And thank you, staff. Thank you, Vice Mayor. You did a good job today. That's all I got.
It's not over yet. Thank you. Are you done?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Okay. So lastly, I apologize if I keep you here a little bit late because of my report. I also went to Sacramento for a different reason. It was for the City Leaders Summit 2024, and I'd like to report to you some of the things that, some of the sessions that I went to, starting with Wednesday, April 17th, and what I learned, and some of the takeaways. So at 2 o'clock, of course, I went to the early session at 11, but I'd like to report on the 2 to 5 p.m. the legislative session. The first one is tackling retail theft in local communities. The legislature has renewed interest in helping local governments keep our communities safe. We talked about pending legislation that address organized retail theft through the STOP Act. Repeat offenders increase their sentencing for those that have multiple incidents of theft, and possible reforms of Prop 47. So that's very good news for our city, for all the cities in California. All of our cities. And then the number 2 session that I went to is addressing the homelessness. So basically, the main takeaway is that the need for the state to invest $3 billion in ongoing permanent funding to prevent and reduce homelessness and boost affordable housing. We discussed the threats of California city revenues, because if we don't get this $3 billion funding and ongoing commitment from the state, we will not be able to address the homelessness. And so that was very enlightening. I enjoyed those sessions. And then from 5 to 7 p.m., we had the legislative reception, where I met many different leaders, and we mingled and we exchanged greetings, and it was a great networking event with our city and county leaders. And I even met our Assemblyman Trita there. He was very happy to see, he was happy to see me because I was representing City of Westminster in his district. And then the next day, Thursday, April 18th, at the general session at 8:30 to 10. So this one I think I enjoyed, probably the highlight for me was it was the National League of Cities federal update that was provided by Irma Esparza-Diggs. And you may not know her by name, but she's a senior executive and director of federal advocacy of the National League of Cities. And she and her team are our voice in Washington, D.C. Irma Diggs and her team are responsible to bring us the ARPA fund. So you probably know about ARPA, but you don't know who's behind that. That's Irma and her team. And so we really appreciated the work that they did, and I made sure I let her know that. And I sent you a picture for you to, oh yeah, that's Irma. Thank you so much. That's me and Irma. I was very pleased that she could make it. She came all the way from Washington, D.C. To give us, she was kind of pressed for time, but I really enjoyed her report. And one thing she said was that more and more people being elected to Congress with very little expertise in local governments, very little expertise. So that's quite insightful. So it's really important that our city leaders reach out to pass along the messages of our constituents. And so we need to work closely with the people in Washington, D.C., work with the people who represent us, especially the lobbyists, so that our voices could be heard. Then another thing that she talked about was the EPA. There's a bill that is emerging that deals with PFAS contaminants. I know our council had to talk about that very recently. Without revealing what we talked about in closed session, I just want to say that, so what she said was that they support the liability protection for municipal drinking water, wastewater, stormwater, et cetera. Currently, there's draft legislation, but it does not include liability protection for municipal government at all. They want to ensure that the polluter is the one that is responsible for paying for that cleanup, not the municipal governments. So that's very good, and everybody in the room applaud. And next was regarding economic development. They want to change how Washington thinks about economic development and economic growth, not just put dollars in the hands of the state government. I always say, you don't want to just throw money at the problem and, solve it. So what you need to do is it needs to go directly to us, to local leaders, because we know our priorities and we get a return on investment faster than any state legislature can. I'm sure you agree with that, right? And so the next one the next session was the keynote speaker, Vincent Phillips. And that was kind of a fun session. He's a CEO and owner of Communication VIP Training and Coaching. So the key takeaway here, I'll keep this one short, that we don't assume there's one communication style that fits all. So we went through kind of a fun exercise. And so we must learn to treat others the way they want to be treated. So it's kind of how we tend to, go by the saying, like, we want to treat others the way we want to be treated, but it should be the way they want to be treated. So, and to adjust our attitude will positively influence relationships and results. And so that was a very fun session. And then, of course, there were some that overlap, and the next session I chose was the 10:15 session, the do's and don'ts of conducting a public meeting. It was a depiction of City Council meeting gone awry, and we were there to learn from its mistakes. Well, I really, really think that some of the material they probably took from our City Council meetings, as they did last year also. So, it was quite an interesting experience being on the other side of the dais, watching it like you guys are doing. So I feel for you. As I was sitting there, listening and watching, I learned a lot. So the facilitators they used were councils from Best and Krieger. They went over the mistakes, the do's and the don'ts. Some of it just very subtle mistakes. And so that was quite a learning experience in what felt like a real setting. So they actually had they set it up with real microphones and where you push and you speak. So it was, that was kind of interesting, but I think they got the point across to us. And then the networking lunch. So I also learned during the networking lunch. So we were talking, because that came right after the do's and don'ts at council meetings. So we were all talking, we had a full table of 10, leaders, council members and mayors. And so it was basically they were talking about whether we would allow council members to reply to some of the remarks, because there were some really, really loud, and of course I think they purposely made the remarks very obnoxious and et cetera. And so it said reply to some of the remarks the people made during open communication. So excuse me, may I continue, please? So I asked the mayor next to me for her opinion, and she said no, she would not allow any council members to reply to the comments made by the public. And I asked others, and so through that, I think the consensus was clear that that shouldn't be done. And so I learned, and this is the reason. So this is the reason I decided today, since I am acting as mayor for the day, and I would not allow it either. And I learned the reasons why. I heard from all of them, the 9 people at the table, the round table. So and then 12:45 to 2, collaborative framework to addressing homelessness. Solano County and its 7 cities united through a regional homelessness policy board. Well, this is kind of one that I think is quite interesting, and that we could learn something from this. And I don't know, it won't be just our city, but JPA, Joint Power Authority, that they did, 2 council members from each of the 7 cities, along with 1 county supervisor from the same district, of course, formed a official regional homeless policy board as a joint power authority. So the key takeaway here is that it makes sense to collaborate to be most efficient as possible, knowing that the homeless go from city to city. Among the 7 cities, some are medium-sized, maybe 1 large, a couple large, and then a few are very tiny, like, they're very small in population. So if they were to tackle homelessness alone, you can just imagine that the smaller cities, even us, we're considered a medium-sized city.
Okay.
It really becomes very financially not so feasible to carry out some of the things that they did. They wanted to address the core issues, so it really makes sense to collaborate to be most efficient as possible, knowing that the homeless go from city to city. I already said that, and they want to help them with the core issues. They included a county supervisor, and I think that was a very smart move. So they weren't just talking among, the mayor and city council members, because really the council supervisor really held.
We do not have a quorum.
Vice Mayor, I'm sorry. We no
What
longer
happened?
have a quorum.
Then we have to stop the meeting. There's no
Should we?
quorum. There's
Okay.
only 3 of us.
If you need to go, I'll stop. I'll wait. I could wait for you. If you need to go, you go. I think I'm almost done, but All right.
But you guys interrupt me when I was speaking, so I
Well,
didn't
this
know
is
how
part
long
of
this
AB
is.
213 report,
I
not
know,
reading from
you
the
interrupted me.
Constitution.
I'm
Well,
sorry,
don't
it
read from
was-
the Constitution.
That
That you don't
didn't
even-
we
can't even tell
sworn
the
under
difference.
oath
You know
to
what?
defend and protect the Constitution?
not the Congress.
That is
This
why
is
I'm
city
speaking on
council.
behalf.
Please.
To the
please.
Constitution?
It is my turn to
If you
speak.
did, then you should be okay.
Well,
That's
we know
your
what you do.
responsibility.
We know what you
Hey,
do with
that
your-
is your duty as a council,
Child.
as a
Could you
government.
please?
So please don't interrupt me when I was talking. Now go ahead.
Okay,
Learn the
please.
rules. There's only 3 of us up here. If you leave, we have to stop the meeting, call for a recess.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to just, I have a few more because I was there for 3 days, so let's, bear with me. I think that these are very interesting points to bring back, and I think I was very excited. I actually spent a lot of time writing this up. So then on Thursday, 2:15 to 3:30, I chose the one that says, titled, How Cities Fight Crimes with Civil Litigation. This session explains how cities could leverage neighborhood law programs. These attorneys can effectively employ strategies such as receivership to mitigate crime and bolster city revenue. And then the next, and probably the very last session of Thursday, we're not even Friday yet. So the vital importance of local enforcement in the cannabis industry. Although we don't have to worry about dealing with the cannabis industry in Westminster, it helps me to understand more about how the regulatory compliance enforcement for safety and security of the community. It requires specialized training and dedicated staff. I didn't know the cannabis operators are required to obtain and maintain 2 licenses at 2 separate levels, state and local. Each has their own set of regulations. So then Friday, April 19th, it was a light day and it ended at noon. So the 2 sessions I went to was interim housing solutions. That was very interesting. And it was a session focused on urgent need for interim housing while waiting for permanent housing supply to catch up with the city, with the need. And that's pretty much all that I have. So. And City Leaders Summit 2024 ended exactly at noon. And thank you so much for listening. Okay, so is there anything else? If not, I'd like to adjourn the meeting to the next regular meeting on Wednesday, May 8th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Thank you.